And this is a testimony because I had been contemplating moving to Miami ever since I went to the Seafood and Wine Festival and I saw how everyone was well nourished and moisturized. Feelings because, I'm really ready to elevate my brand and to be doing this like completely full time, where I'm dealing with brand partnerships. My show is on a bigger platform, several streams of income. I've been just, really going through it for the last I'll say it's been on and off for almost I'll say about 5 months. I asked God, I asked the universe that if it was meant for me to still live here in Brooklyn, the only way that I want to live here is if I can live the way that I want to live in Brooklyn. Is that, New York is an amazing place. It's an amazing place. But you can live different lifestyles here. You can live different lifetimes here. And why be in a space that you can't show up as your full, authentic self? So one of my criteria for me staying here was to be able to have an apartment by myself. My own, where I could decorate, I could have company, I could do game nights, I could do whatever I want. I just wanted to have my own space, my own nice space, because when I first moved to New York about 7 years ago, I had my own apartment. I had lived in New York right around Sandy, and I had to leave abruptly because my mom's cancer had came back. So right when I was just moving into my new apartment, I would have been a Harlem girl. My mom called me and told me that, the cancer had came back. So for 4 years, I put my life on hold and I went back to Fayetteville, North Carolina. If y'all know, Vietnam. And I just, but I took care of my mom until she passed. And it was 4 years that I was gone. But I kept in touch with my old roommate, and she, in that time, became a broker. So she hooked me up with her friend who had a 1-bedroom apartment in Bushwick. And it was the cutest thing. It was a full apartment. I had my own kitchen, had my own bedroom, had my own living room, bathroom. It was dope. Fast forward, after the year was up, they were, when they gentrified, they were trying to raise the rent. And I was new to New York. So for me, it didn't make sense for me to, stay there or put my name on the lease and think that it was cool, because it was not a place of convenience, but they were raising it like $500. And I had just moved there. I was, starting in PR in New York, looking for a job. I was waiting tables, whatever the case may be, but I just didn't think to stay. So I ended up getting a roommate, and we were roommates up until December 2021. And so for 6 years, I was roommates with this particular person. Now, it wasn't all bad, but towards the end, it started to be uncomfortable because I never really truly felt like it was my space. And, sometimes she would remind me that it wasn't my space, but that's another story, and that's nothing to get into. I'm free. So I was fortunate enough to find a space December 5th. I moved out December 11th, and I was fortunate to find a space in a home that had like 4 levels, and she was renting out the top. So I had a space that was big enough. It was like a studio apartment, except it didn't have a kitchen. It had a refrigerator on the inside. So, I barely could, I could use the kitchen, but it was more of a hassle to use the kitchen. So I really didn't have control over the things that I was eating and being able to cook and making sure that I had all the things that I needed in order for me to be, successful. And if you are part of my tribe, there are some of you who have, witnessed, supported, and talked to me about how I'm feeling with my creative journey and building this brand to be what I want it to be. So one of my friends who I am just so grateful, and I know that she was speaking to the universe, and I know she was speaking to the guides. She told me to apply for, the lottery apartments. And I have had friends who won, the brand new luxury apartments. One at 59 Columbus Circle. Another one in Harlem. She told me to apply. And so when I did, I applied, I think in January. And I was just like, okay, it's a lottery, you don't always win, but you apply in hopes for the best. So in February, I heard back from them. And they were asking me, for the information that they needed, your taxes, your all this other stuff. And I was just like, okay, I got to the first round. Cool. Excited. But I still was like, yo, New York better make a shake for me to be here, because I'm willing to start over anywhere if it's going to go towards what I want. Child, I didn't hear nothing from them for like months. And so one day I was walking past the exact building, because I watched this building get built. And I was just like, oh, I didn't hear nothing from them, whatever the case may be. Went to sleep, woke up, and there was an email saying that I got the apartment. I was so overwhelmed. I started crying because I couldn't believe it. And I went through like all my journal entries, because I don't really journal. I just write down things that I, hope to manifest, and things that, I just think about. And I had looked in my journals, and it had said that I wanted to live in a luxury building. I wanted a doorman. I wanted full amenities, and I wanted... So my aunt died, and while I was in South Carolina, I got a phone call, and they were like, oh, you applied for this, but you qualified for this. Because I was thinking, that I was just going to get a studio apartment. I had started looking at different ideas, because I lived in different apartments, but I never really made it a home. But since I have been on my well-nourished and moisturized journey, I qualified for a 1-bedroom. I fell out, because I was just like, oh my God. And it reminded me of that video that's coming on talking about think big, bitch. Think. Doing the work to attract different things that I want to be better, as far as in my life, as far as the things that I'm doing and things of that nature. So when they told me, no, it's think bigger, bitch. Think bigger. And I am saying that this is a testimony, because, you go through a lot of different things, but in the end, if you work hard and you manifest and really be true to the journey that you're trying to have, things will line up for you. And it also made me realize that my story in New York is not done. And I will be able to sort of start back over living the way that I want to live. And in 2 days, I'll be moving into my space, and I will be able to decorate. I'll be able to have company. I'll be able to just live my full, authentic self. And it feels like I'm moving to New York for the first time. And I'm just so grateful, and I'm so thankful. I will not squander any of the opportunities and things that are coming my way. And I am going to have even more faith that everything is going to turn around. Yeah. And so that's my testimony. Like, whatever you got going on, just know that if you are true to whatever your mission is, it may seem like it's not going to work out, but it works out. And if you just ask, and if you just believe, it will happen. So that's it.